So yeah, I was just welcome everyone to remind you that today is the Red Room's 9th anniversary. 这个就是我们红坊9周年庆。And thank you, Michi, for the applause. No, it's good. 我们今天这个论坛就是希望可以一起探索新的主意，还有旧的主意，然后新的理想。And we're just hoping to explore new and old ideas with this conversation. One of the things I won't repeat is why Red Room's hosting it. In summary, is basically that we've been here for 9 years in different locations. 是双语进行活动，红坊已经超过9年。然后我们就是已经体验过我们文化交换交流的好处有很多。We've already recognized and experienced the benefits of kind of cross-pollination and cross-cultural experimentation and exchange, and that's the main reason why we're here as the Red Room hosting this occasion today. That's the briefest version I can do of what we did earlier. 今天的活动叫 What is 𝘈𝙆𝙐𝞐? Like it's the art of 𝘈𝑯. So what is 𝘈𝙆𝙐𝑚? 我们今天的活动就叫 Art of 𝘈𝑯 的原因是因为 𝘈𝑯 英文来说，普通的简单来说 is an act of extending the boundaries or hopping from a comfort zone to another, or extending the boundary between cultural norms and differences, linguistic norms and differences, and even intergenerational gaps. And so when it comes to experimentation and innovation, the concept of 𝘈𝑯 has proved pertinent, be that in bridging of generation gaps, collaborations between artists and cultural workers of different fields, the spanning of East and West in international exchanges, not to mention performances in which the fourth wall is hardly in place before it falls. 我们跨的4面向包含跨世代、老一辈与年轻人间的连结、跨领域、艺术文化工作者与其他领域的结合、跨国际、东方与西方的合作与交流、跨越第4道墙，打破表演者与观众之间的隔阂。那我们今天有3位一起跟我们一起讨论，然后就是it's very casual, I'm just having a conversation, having a good chat. And 我们今天的主题除了 Art of 𝘈𝑯𝑐𝑒 里面就是文化跨国际 the international nature of culture. So that's what we're hoping to explore, and I would just like to give a brief introduction of the 3 of you, and we'll just get going. So to my left here is David, an active member within the government and private sector, encouraging more cross-pollination that has been seen before between Taiwan and the nations throughout the rest of the world. He represents many, I'm sure, but the main one would be Crossroads as an experimental cross-lingual platform that connects global entrepreneurs and talent to services and resources in Taiwan and overseas markets. The Chinese version of that yet to come onto this sheet. I'll let David take it over soon after. I'm going to skip over. We have Jay. Personally, something I've described him as is, and I'm sure many others, many others, he's a role model for the LGBTQ community, a champion in the commercial and homegrown independent media realm, and an entrepreneur always at the forefront of some of the latest government-related and social issues. And a personal note from Jay himself is an announcement that he was a gay bachelor turned father of twin boys. And hashtag 𝘈𝑯𝑐𝑒, which was a wonderful add-on for today's event. Jalen, yeah, that was what we grabbed from your message. Jalen 是在 LGBTQ 社群中相当活泼，并且在商场与媒体业都有相当的成就。那这位企业家常常都站在第一线，参与社会相关的议题，与政府交流。然后他自己也是一个出柜的同志，2个小男生的爸爸。And our third guest tonight, Alia Hu Jian. Representative from 𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘯 Project, an honorary member of the Taiwanese indigenous communities, active in the arts for decades, telling and resharing his story through drama and dance productions, as well as a myriad of projects in grand scale, designed with a grounded message about Taiwan's journey between the ancient and modern culture. 胡建音乐际会下接触了排湾族的古老文明，从此被这个迷人的民族所吸引。甚至荣获了排湾族的身份，致力于保存排湾族文化的胡建，于2009成立了𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯 音乐剧场，在艺术领域已经超过10年，好几年，然后借着所长音乐剧与表演艺术分享他的故事。那胡建努力整合台湾社会各界的资源与力量，然后积极推动台湾原住民文化的保存与发展。为台湾社会做了一份贡献。So if you would please join me in welcoming our 3 speakers tonight. Thank you. And yeah, to begin, we only have, when we were talking about this earlier, 我们就稍微聊一下的时候, I was questioning, I was like, hey, are these questions going to be okay? I shared 2, and they're like, yeah, we'll take it from there. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think it'll be fun. And I think the main idea of this line of questioning is really, what does it mean to have an international exchange when you're part of the Taiwanese community in Taipei? You are limited as an individual or as an organization. Where do we go? What can we do? And so one of the first questions I wanted to bring up was, through the lens of empowering Taiwan through international exchange, what are positive examples of international activity that currently exist? 关于将台湾推入国际，最近台北有什么相关的行动是可以跟我们分享? Just kind of highlight on the positive side. I wanted to start with what is something that you recognize in Taiwan that's quite, good as a note of international exchange. And the microphones are there? Yes. You don't need to click the button. Okay. Should be up and
Hello.
Okay.
I just wanted to start. This isn't a fine example here. Red Room. I mean, this is ultimately culmination of, of years of efforts in building international community in Taiwan. But what I also, through my own observations, is that there is a very interesting international community already in Taiwan, who are doing many, many things, not just selling drugs or cutting people's heads off, as the news would like to, describe or
not
sensationalize.
Naming any names. Yeah.
Exactly. But there have been entrepreneurs here who have been working here 20, 30 years of their lives, and they see themselves as Taiwanese. They've been creating jobs, contributing to society. They organize beach cleanups. They do all sorts of things to improve their community. And part of our Crossroads efforts, as far as my company is concerned, we are trying to bridge that gap between government, business, local, and foreigner communities here. One of the things which Taiwan has really kind of needed to, and I think there's been waves of change. There's been a trend of change we've been seeing throughout government right now, policy-wise. As far as the Foreign Professionals Law that got passed in 2017. Woohoo. Yes, the ARC numbers finally got changed, or they're announcing it getting changed to match the fields of the ID numbers. And I'm proud to say that along with many, many other fighters and movers in the community, we've been able to kind of push for those changes. But it's also because there also has been awakening in government, realizing that Taiwan cannot stand on its own without better global outreach, without better integrating its foreigner community here. Our main push has been for the government to realize, if you're going to be talking about 国际化, if you're going to be talking about internationalization, you can't keep looking and using it as a slogan. You need to realize that there is actually your currently existing resources with the foreigner community here in Taiwan, and you need to integrate them properly. You can't alienate them. You need to be able to take and use what they have to offer and work with them in order for true internationalization to happen. And yes, the wheels and cogs of government are definitely slow, but there are a lot of great people. There are people who understand this. But ultimately, I think right now we have an interesting platform and for push, for promotion, to help the policymakers who see this, to really start opening those cracks and making Taiwan more accessible, making it a more open place, and making it a more equal place. I think one of the most interesting things, and from my own perspective, is that Taiwan has always had a lack of a unified national identity. I think it's been one of the things that has been actually holding us back in a lot of different ways, and there's no one to blame for this. It's just that through history, through politics, through our culture, and hey, we had a very long history of being colonialized here. This is naturally to happen. But with all the pressures that are going around, especially with China looking over our shoulder, and I think it's a good time to reflect on the definition of what is Taiwanese. I think Taiwan itself is a very interesting place, and especially in these times when the world is trending towards a more let's say, a more right-wing or more harsh or authoritarian ways, trends, I think Taiwan has truly an opportunity right now, more than ever, to stand out and show what it's about, and to show exactly how diverse we can be and how welcoming we can be in all aspects of it, not just race, nationality,
Sure.
but in all aspects, sexuality, everything.
Well, yeah, so it sounds like, you know, in order for Taiwan to really offer the world what we have to offer as a nation, and with, you know, a myriad of different cultural norms, we have to be prepared to identify, you know, ourselves. And I think today being such an important day would be a good segue for Jay. Maybe you'd like to share. I mean, today's voting day, and there's so many things to decide upon. You don't have to play with the button. It should be good to go, yeah.
I'm just playing with the microphone.
Go for it. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you, Manav. I'm very happy to be here. And since this is the 9th anniversary of the Red Room, and we're being guinea pigs, as you said, this is an experiment. Maybe one thing we should do is every time anyone says _// or cross, we should like pick up a beer.
Yeah, we should have a sip. So
I'll say
sure.
_//
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fair you're drinking tea.
Well, you don't know what's in that tea, so we're all good to
True.
go.
I don't. No, so aside from it being the 9th anniversary of Red Room, of course, there's another huge event that I'm sure many of you seated, we should speak English, right?
Whatever is more comfortable for you. Really, yeah, it's fine.
Seated here have participated or have friends who have participated in, which is our election, right, for municipal elections, regional elections, and also our 10 referendums, 5 of which are around the marriage equality issue. I'll get into that maybe a little bit later, but in general, with the election, I think what you were talking about, Manav, as showing the world like something international or something that's spectacular in Taiwan, that's an example, right? Since, well, actually, I'll talk about it now. Starting with 2016, end of 2016, which is when I concluded the 3rd Taiwan International Queer Film Festival. Then we had the unfortunate suicide of Professor Jack Picot. I don't know, for those who are seated here, whether you know that story, but he was together with a Taiwanese man for 40 years, but his partner died for health reasons, but he actually had no right to make any medical decisions for him. And even after he passed away, and even though his partner told his whole entire family that, you know, all the property that he owns is communal property and should be shared with his Professor Picot, like none of it was. And so we had his unfortunate death, which propelled actually the whole nation to actually focus on this issue, and allowed the legislators to actually have the sort of mandate to actually introduce marriage, same-sex legislation into the legislature. But the legislature actually takes several steps before it becomes law, right? And so unfortunately, it never made it to the floor. But there were, in this process of having the whole nation sort of be talking about marriage equality, there were public hearings, and there were a lot of different sort of organizations that sprouted out, including the Marriage Equality Coalition, which I belong to, that have, since that time until now, organized all the various rallies and campaigns and gatherings and lobbying to bring to us where we are now, which by the end of tonight, we'll know the results of the referenda. It's not too positive, but I always am an optimist, and I put a positive spin on this, is that at least even more so than in 2016, the whole country knows about this issue now. Actually, the whole world knows that Taiwan could be the first country to pass marriage equality, and actually we will. Because no matter the result of the referenda, I just want everyone here to be rest assured that actually last year on May 24th, our highest court, our constitutional court, already deemed not allowing same-sex couples to marry unconstitutional as a violation of our equality clause. And so I think the debate now from today until May 24th, because the highest court gave the legislature 2 years to come up with legislation that will conform with our constitution. The debate was whether we're going to have whether gays and lesbians can marry under the civil code or provisional code, like a partnership act. And so that already is so far ahead of so many other countries in Asia. And so we really should give ourselves a pat on the back for how far we have come as a society, as a civilization, as a country. Elections were only legal here in 1996, right? And so it's only 22 years ago, and look at what we have done. I think after this talk and we go back and look at the news, you'll see a lot of flipping of mayors in the various regions here, but there's no coup d'etat. There's no, Maria Antoinette, guillotine. There's none of that. Like you said, rolling heads, right? And although I think the referenda for support of marriage equality will be voted down, it's really unfortunate because I've been quite involved in this process. So I'm sorry I'm talking about this so much, but it's so
please.
relevant.
This is the platform for that.
Yeah. Because I've been involved in the coalition, and we know the polls actually that we've done, even 4 months or 5 months before, was plus or minus 5%. If we can flip that middle sort of undecided voters, we could potentially win the vote, the referendum. But the last 2 months, the anti-gay opposition, they just galvanized, also including international support, so much funding, and infiltrated, I don't want to use that word because that's so laced, but I will. Like private chat groups such as Line or WhatsApp or Facebook, and just bought so much, brought so much fake news and propaganda and brainwashing techniques. And so, unfortunately, the coalition and all the partners on the sort of pro-marriage side, we just couldn't react in quick enough time, and we could not raise the money in quick enough time to balance that, or to enter into those very insidious, again, laced again, but I will keep on saying that, into those chat groups and present the other side. But I think it's very great that everybody knows about the issues now, including us. We know what people are fearful of. We know what people are anxious of, and we will find a strategy to communicate to those people and unbrainwash them and make them understand all we're trying to do is make everybody equal. And we're trying to create a more harmonious society and a more prosperous society. And only can you have a more prosperous and more harmonious society when every single individual in the country is equal. And I think once after the election, after we get some more sleep, and after sort of we calm everybody down, this will be our major mandate for the next 6 months. And we already have certain vehicles in place, such as, I just brought some examples. This one, for example, is something that I did last year. It's called 点亮计划. And this is going to be a very important, I feel, vehicle to get people to come on board and support marriage equality. So this is, in a sense, anyone who supports marriage equality, they can go on this website and they can register their domicile, which is their place of voting. And once they've registered, a light will light up on the Taiwan map. And we will collect all this data, as we have been, and use this as a way to communicate with everyone who is supporting marriage equality and equality in this country. And so this will continue to ramp itself up, because now, after the election, we hope the legislators will only be momentarily swayed by the results of the referendum, but we'll be aggressively lobbying them and also bringing pro-marriage equality people on our side to also continuously communicate with their legislators so they can enact legislation that is more reflective of a just and equal society.
Beautiful.
Should I go on, or?
I would love for you to go on. I think really quick, just as an introduction in the beginning, I'd love for Alia Hu Jian to also have an opportunity to kind of
Sorry, I just get so passionate about
It's really
this.
good. Actually, I would love for everyone, if you would join us, we'd give a round of applause to Jay for everything he's involved in to help push forward Taiwan, of course.
And lastly, I'm just gonna say 𝘈, so I can drink another
𝘈.
beer.
Yeah, drink. We have to drink to that, of course. 𝘈. Cheers.
We normally say ilahu.
Ooh.
This is my start.
Beautiful.
Good start. Hey, hi. 真的不用按吗？ Hey. Test. Hi, everybody. Good evening. I think I feel more comfortable to make it in Mandarin.
可以啊，
Yeah,
当然可以。
可以吗？大家都听得懂吗？如果听不懂，就找 Manav
我会试着，
translate
我试着偶尔来翻译一下。Yeah, sure.
他中文讲得很好，因为他很小的时候就看他长大。I'm old. Well, 当 Manav 找我来talk something about international connection， 跟就台湾跟 international 的 connection， 其实我稍微想了一下，我好像是有啊，但那个方向有一点不一样。我先 Can I tell you a little bit story about myself? I was born in China, 1970. And when I was 10, I moved to Hong Kong with my father and mother and my brother. And when I was 20, I came here alone, 就一个人来到台湾。我跟我2个同学各借了2000块港币。I borrowed 2,000 Hong Kong dollars with 2 of my friends. We were very, very poor when we were in Hong Kong. And it seemed that it's a one-way ticket. I would never go back there to live or doing my business, anything to develop, 去发展我的事业。从此之后没有，我也看到未来可能没有。It's like an attraction, strong attraction, attracting me to come to this island. And when I was 25, I told them all my secret of my age.
Yeah,
I
everyone
met-
did the math when you said 1970.
69 degree. Okay, yeah. Okay. When I was 25, I met indigenous. It's like my heart with another heart. They're so close. As I really love to say, after every performance in Wulai, every Wednesday, we have a performance every Wednesday in the Wulai. We have our own theater there. I would really love to share people that what we are doing is not only a performance, but to share you the very, very ancient, very, very raw emotion when people were still very pure and innocent here. Our vuvu means grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, and grandfather, and the dead spirits, ancestors. To share you my vuvu's very raw emotion between human beings, heart, and our motherland. I was educated by British and also the China government and also Taiwanese government. I was graduated from Taiwan University, atmospheric science. Suppose I should be the weatherman. But I am so, touched by something. I think that is 非常的珍贵. It is the treasure of this island. 我是从外面来的人. I'm someone from outside, but 我很被它吸引, strongly attracted. So then, it has been 22 years already. I did nothing, only one thing, with my village people and tried my very best to share people on this island and all over the world to see that's the real, 很珍贵的东西, the very real, beautiful scenery of Taiwan. So, but我没有在看电视了最近, 所以 I know nothing about election. 虽然我有去 vote, 我有点乱投, 我觉得。But 婚姻平权那个我是很 seriously 去认真看过去投那样子. 我觉得我用了我一辈子的精力 I spent all my life energy and efforts to trying to reconstruct 去重建构一个以前台湾原住民很古老的画面。Can I do a small promotion?
Yeah, I love how both of you guys have your stuff ready.
This is a performance that we are going to do it on December 22nd.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, the name of the show is called Miningan Funeral in the Slate House. Do you know the meaning of Miningan? It's a very, very ancient word of Taiwanese indigenous. Do you know where is Taiwan? Where? Pingdong, Dawu Mountain. Miningan means singing stories. So the reason why I want to use the funeral is I saw something during the elder's death. 当老人死的时候，是我22年看到排湾族最美的一件事情。I see the most beautiful thing during the death. 所以我感觉到它不是排湾 culture only， 不只是排湾 culture， 也不只是台湾 culture。Something 有一些东西是 international， 有点像是 is like a refrigerator freezer。它 preserve something for you, for me. I'm a Chinese man, China man, but my heart is here on this village, in this village. 就是它像是一个，对我来讲，台湾原住民的文化有着一种可以代言我们台湾跟国际对话的一个永恒的一个价值。它里面有一些很珍贵的东西。Thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
Don't forget to buy the ticket, 哈。所以这么多年来，我们比较像是很努力在这边，Cheers 我们比较像是在镇守台湾。让国外来的朋友能够看到台湾老人家仅存的珍贵的价值。Yeah, that's my start.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. 所以我现在就没有办法再读就曾经写过的一些东西来一起分享。Everything I'm about to share now is not scripted, so I'll be struggling with the bilingual aspect, but I'll try my best. As Alia mentioned, he's known me since I was very little. I grew up here, I was born here, so I've been here my entire life. And when I graduated high school, as an Indian, even though I spoke Chinese, I didn't really feel like I belonged, and I was trying to find some work, trying to fit in with the social infrastructure we have in place here in Taipei. 我是台湾土生土长，然后我17岁之后就希望找一下工作，属于我们这边社会找一下工作机会的时候，胡建叔叔 Alia was one of the first. Uncle Alia was one of the first to offer me an opportunity, and I worked with him and many students at 交大实小 to do drama classes. And I am not a thespian in any particular way, but the opportunity to teach and interact with younger Taiwanese students was an incredible marker and for what I did in the future. And today here I am speaking with the three of you, and it's an amazing opportunity and part of my growth. When I went kind of earlier 20s with the Red Room, running different operations and events, I got to meet Jay, and he actually took me aside and spoke to me. Jay 就差不多20到23岁的时候，我就在策展红坊活动的时候 ，Jay took me aside and asked me what I really wanted. 他就问我到底是想要做什么，然后他可以怎么帮助。And so Jay's been a part of that stage, and today he mentioned the Foreign Professionals Act. 我现在今年才有办法有我现在的权利 the ability to work legally in Taiwan and to run what I'm doing and be involved in what I'm doing. And also my recent residential status is because of a lot of things David's been a part of, as well as Forward Taiwan and many others. And so personally, since he mentioned our connection, I just wanted to ask everyone to join me again for one more round of applause. Like personally benefited from the three of you. Yeah. 我们今天就是话题，可能就是到处都有。然后我们这3位都有一些希望分享的主意。The three of them in today's conversation, we might be kind of scattered, but at the end of the day, they all have a message to share. And personally, when I had the opportunity to host a panel discussion, these are the three I thought of when it came to international exchange because of how influential they are, and I can vouch for that personally. And just on that note, I wanted to kind of steer us in the direction of, as a member of influence, what is it about Taiwan you're hoping to share? And that's something you guys have mentioned, and I think it would be fair to summarize that, Alian, you're emphasizing on the traditional value, a lot of the ancient culture in Taiwan, as well as indigenous transition to modern culture in ways, and through song and dance, theater production, performance, how we can share our stories, Milian, through song. And Jay, like, you're through the media realm as well as personally taking yourself out there, making yourself out there in front of the camera, like pulling out movements and on the forefronts to help support something that's on the legislative level is huge. And David as well, like you have your own interests, but you're now working and bridging the gap between private enterprise and government. And so I was hoping maybe you guys would be willing to, I know it might be repeating yourselves, but like in very brief statement, how would you kind of, what's the main core message you'd like to send out and share with everyone here? And we can go into how people can be a part of it, but what's the one core message you'd like to share? And I'm really quick to say it in Chinese. 就作为一般大众认为具有影响力的人 right? A member of influence, 你们认为台湾有什么事情是你们想与大家分享？然后我们可以怎么付出以支持这样的理念？然后就是把台湾推上国际。No, yeah, please.
I think in a more broad. Hello. I think in a more broad aspect, and sounds pretty idealistic, but 别低估你的能力. Don't underestimate yourself. I think one, and I don't mean to make this a cultural broad brush, but there is this, there's humility, and which is a very good thing, that is entrenched in Taiwanese culture and in Asian culture, and a tendency not to make a ruckus, but that also might translate as a inhibitor to true or wide change, let's just say. It's one of the things I think is think about what you want to do or what you are doing, and I think of it in terms of action. And I know this is cliche, but you do see a lot of, hopes and dreams, but no real plan of action. How do you try to do that? How do you plan to accomplish that? And a lot of times when we want to idealize or we have ideals of big goals or dreams, we sometimes lose the picture about what the little steps it might take to get there. And usually those little steps are hard. Usually those little steps are very humiliating or very, very tough. And you can't really even think of beginning from those steps. But regardless, the battles that are worth fighting are never easy. And they require a lot of self-reflection and rethinking about who you are and what you're capable of. In a more practical action right now, one of the initiatives that we're doing right now, and which I actually am here to actually talk about, is recently Premier Lai Ching-te recently announced that he wants to make English an official language of Taiwan. We believe in overall, in a general direction, that this is a good thing. Equipping Taiwanese people with the tools to communicate globally. Of course, as to how far he's willing to take it, we don't know. We can only use what he did in Tainan City 3 years ago. We started as a model. I know that the standards aren't, not to say that they're going to make everyone fluent in English in a few years. I don't think that's really possible. But from another aspect of this is that we have a 3-step plan, which we're going to be using to put his feet to the fire on this, putting government to the fire. One is we are actually in the middle of drafting legislative framework, and we are working with legislators, National Development Council, as well as influential people in academia, to draft a legislative framework as to how to actually implement this policy. This would, if you're going to be saying English is an official language of Taiwan, that means a lot of things. It's quite a bit of things to take in. That would mean that public services would have to be accessible in English. That would mean that English is accepted and equal employment opportunities are there for English speakers. And it goes on, this whole list. But whether it's practical to implement everything, we will see. On the second, which we will begin, we are holding a public congressional hearing on January 9th. We already set the date. Legislator Karen Yu, our fantastic legislator, will be spearheading this effort. We are also gathering people from foreign consulates, chambers of commerces, people from the private sector, to really come out and use this as a platform to talk and have a voice. I do see this announcement as a way for the foreign community to have a platform. Because if you are going to say something as grand as English as an official language, it shouldn't be bureaucrats closed in a room coming up with policy without engaging the people who are actually doing this every single day. They need to be engaging the people who are actually teaching their kids and interacting, have some ideas about how to do English or teach English or how to make English more immersive in everyone's lives. And that means engaging the foreign community more. We already have some policy ideas, which I can share with you guys in more depth later, but I won't bore you with the details here.
It's okay.
But it also ties into not just education, but immigration, as well as pathways to citizenship and longer-term solutions to kind of change the way the framework and the diverse makeup of Taiwan and its government institutions, and perhaps even the private sector from there. On the third, final step is we are also considering an alliance right now. An alliance to incentivize great teachers, great educators, coaches, English coaches, and great talent from abroad to come here and incentivize them to come to Taiwan. Sadly, Taiwan is not a place people tend to think about when you're thinking about making big money, sadly. But there are definitely a lot of things that other people are attracted to here. As Mr. Ping Chu would like to say, Taiwan is your second home in Asia because it definitely has a lot of things to be attractive about. It definitely has a lifestyle that everyone is attracted here. But overall, this alliance would be to say, how do we provide those financial incentives through an NGO structure or some type of alliance, as well as how to provide immigration incentives for this. People are going to come here. They want to know if they might have a longer-term future here, rather than just being used for their talents and then just kicked out. And then they're like, what's the next step? Second of all, perhaps a type of certification process as well. Sadly, due to immigration policy, there are a lot of English teachers here. And the fact of the matter is that not everyone is actually professionally trained to be an English teacher. Not to say that that's necessarily qualification to be a good teacher. But at the same time, as you know, with a lot of private sector individuals, they tend to think that as long as you're a foreigner, you can speak English and you can teach English. But we do see this as a pattern as to having a bad overall effect on why English is still not,
as long as you're a foreigner of certain color.
Yes, of color.
Yeah.
Of
No,
color.
of certain color.
Yes,
Not
of certain color.
of all colors.
Of all colors.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Like maroon, purple, brown, not so much.
Not so much. Not so much. Not so
But
much.
if I may, I just
Okay.
wanted to also to allow for our
Oh,
for
sorry.
You're good.
You're right,
But really quick, I mean, would it be fair to say that many of us can be assured, knowing that you're kind of there, as well as your crew of people, to kind of put light the fire beneath their toes, 说话
Yes.
算话, like they can walk their
Yes.
talk. You are part of that troupe, right?
But overall, what is necessary is for the community to get together, because this is how politics works. You have policymakers who do have that idea, but without enough public support, without enough people behind them, it is also very scary for them. They also have their jobs to look out, their political, support that they need to really push on ahead.
Sure.
We need a unified community to backing them. And we need to give them the fire, the oil to light that fire, at least I should say. So definitely I will be putting out more information there as we do this, but we are hoping that we can actually gather a bigger and bigger community to get our voices heard for this. And really keep pushing this momentum that has been started years and years ago by giants. Again, I'm looking at Ping Chu over there, and Red Room, and for Taiwan, and Jay, and everyone who's been working so hard for these efforts. But overall, we have the people in government. We have the tendencies, the trend. We just need to keep pushing right now. So yes, I will end it here. But yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So I was rambling in the first section, so I'll be succinct here in the second one. And just 2 points. 𝘈, yeah. 𝘈, everyone.
Cheers.
So 2 things I'd like to share. First one is I started Protocol Media 15 years ago. The first 10 years, I was actually importing a lot of content into Taiwan. So we repped like NBCU, Viacom, A&E, brought in Lifetime, History, MTV, Diva, all those type of things. And actually, even though a lot of these media conglomerates, they were having a lot of shows and a lot of content in the US that was really reflective of the diverse population, meaning you have content like Will and Grace or Modern Family. None of that was actually being satellite broadcasted anywhere in Asia because of the censorship or religious restrictions. So I decided I would start doing something different, and hopefully one day also start exporting some of the something different that I was doing. So I started with the Taiwan International Film Festival, and then 2 years ago, the Taiwan International Queer Film Festival, and 2 years ago I started with the 𝘈𝙆𝘐𝑚, which is Asia's first and actually the world's largest LGBT movies online collection with 800 titles. And recently we've aggregated about 80 LGBT-related queer movies and shorts in Taiwan, and are now pushing them out to other parts of Asia, including Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Macau, and hopefully launching soon in India and China. And so this is an example of how before we're doing out to in, and now we're doing in to out. And as our original content related to 𝘈𝙆𝘐𝑚, we're also going deep into 4 Asian countries, Hong Kong, Philippines, Japan, and Vietnam, to find interesting subjects, characters, themes, organizations that we can produce and then push around also within our 𝘈𝙆𝘐𝑚 online service, and also sell to other operators and channels, hopefully also including Netflix overseas. So that's an example of our initiative here, doing something that is very uniquely Taiwan, because you're probably unlikely to be able to set up this type of service in China or in Malaysia or Indonesia or Singapore, many of those places. But given Taiwan's sort of like progressive, overall progressive sort of like society and our media climate, this is something we're actively doing. The second thing is just being as out as possible. Like I actually only came out to my parents when I was 40, even though I started coming out through various phases when I was in college in the US. And once coming out, I realized there's just and also became a dad. And even though there are other gay dads in Taiwan, they're very reluctant to come out and share their story. Maybe because their parents are saying that, this is kind of shameful, or they're just kind of fearful for their job security, because unlike me, I have my own company, so no one can really literally fire me. So maybe the board, which I run. No, just kidding.
Basically, you're highlighting that this is a good time in your life to come out.
Yeah, so
right.
I feel like this is very imperative because, Asian countries in general, no matter how progressive, overall, there's still a very sort of high stigma or shame or kind of like attached to being gay. And I want to break all those closets, like literally and metaphorically, figuratively. As an example, I know that's bringing a lot of chaos, and sometimes it's very exhausting to have to do it over and over again and tell the stories. But I'm hoping I can do it enough that there's going to be a new cadre of hopefully other willing gay parents, or doesn't even need to be parents, or people who are willing to come out. And I think the result of this referendum, or leading up to this referendum, actually a lot of people decided that they can't take it anymore. They're going to come out to their parents, they're going to come to their colleagues, they're going to come to their friends. And so I'm seeing this really positive blossoming of people being more courageous and being more themselves. And I think that is going to fundamentally change, maybe not tonight, but fundamentally change how society is in Taiwan in the near future. So those are two things that I'm doing.
Well, I think, yeah, thank you. I think what's beautiful, what we're hearing is that, regardless of the end result from the referendum, that the message has been sent. Many others have been encouraged to share their personal story, and it's out there. And so that's an amazing, a positive aspect of what's happening, especially with like Taiwanese citizen involvement. So thank you for that. Yes.
我要呼应刚刚 Manav 讲我们扮演的核心价值，其实，我们扮演的角色，我一直都很难启齿。就是在台湾目前在做原住民表演艺术这件事情，我们扮演的角色，我一直都很难跟人家谈。原因是，我们没办法否认原住民是曾几何时在台湾是被殖民的。好，那在一个强势的一个文化，再去 similarize 的一个 indigenous tribe 的时候，到底当代的原住民的绽放，我用绽放2个字，它包含了一切：音乐、装置艺术、美学、诗、饮食的方式。到底我们应该用你们平地人的半桌，还是要在我们的 𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘪𝑷 我们的秋千下面用 𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘓𝑚𝑛𝑎𝑣 和我们的 𝑉𝑎𝑣𝑎 我们的小米酒？到底原住民认为，请你们吃平地人的半桌比较有面子，还是吃 𝘈𝑚𝑛𝑎𝑣𝑎𝑣𝑎 大家知道什么叫 𝘈𝑚𝑛𝑎𝑣𝑎𝑣𝑎 吗？就是 Taiwanese dumplings ，very very ancient food。好，就是原住民搞不清楚什么是，应该在这个世代可以承载着祖先留下来的一个文化的情感的流动，原住民掌握不好。那我的角色有一点特殊，我是一个外来人。外来人总比当局者看得比较清楚，所以我们会变成一个很孤单的一个。因为我拥抱的是日本人，日本人大概在1995年的时候进入大武山，他终止了排湾族的文手，终止了我们把人死的人埋葬在家里，他终止了很多我们跟人、跟天、跟地合而为一的 core value。但是排湾族人被跟日本人来过之后，汉人也来了。闽南人的半桌文化也来了，这是为什么？如果你们去参加我们原住民的婚礼的时候，我们吃的都是板豆，是半桌。民国92年，我花了到民国92、93、94，我花了3年的时间做了一件事，叫做排湾族婚礼田野调查。我把我排湾族，我把我的歌唱家瑞斯的弟弟入赘给我排湾族的妹妹。是女王，我们用他们2个结婚生小孩，真正的复原了一次古老的排湾族的这个结婚文化。如果阿美族是在丰年祭里面展现阿美族的灿烂，排湾族绝对不是在丰年祭。排湾族的文化的绽放，只有在一级女性头目入赘一个男人到他家里的时候，一切的古老文明全部复习一次。但就在这样的一个复习过程里面，我觉得我只完成了85%到90%。为什么？其中有一样，吃东西这件事情，在排湾族古老的婚礼里面，吃是不重要的。吃只是在秋千，大家知道那个排湾族的秋千有4根木头踩在地上，然后1根单绳的藤荡的。吃不是重点， 那我们一直希望恢复古老的这样的一个完整的祭典的模式，但是我们的家族的叔叔坚持要办桌，所以原住民已经受到你们外来的人的影响，已经把持不住了。然后再来就是说，原住民在把持不住的情况之下，他展现出来的一种文化，我们媒体很容易叫他说传统文化。有一次，我上原民台接受访问，原民台有一个记者就问他说：“胡建老师，你们做的东西够不够传统 ？What you are doing is traditional enough or not？” 我想了一下，回答说：“我说 not， no， no。Even 我们在 capture all the message like more than 120 years ago, ancient, old。我始終認為福建做的不傳統 ，because I cannot identify what is tradition. It is a flow from several thousands years ago. The sun came to our Paiwan village, and it stayed there. And then it laid an egg in our pot. When the egg hatched, the noble ancestor came out. Since then, that's legend? No, once it was about our history. Because in Paiwan memory, we search all the elders' memory, search all the minds. We have any hint memory about navigation on ocean. That means we have no horizontal immigration history. We land directly from there. So this is the life start. This is the direction of life, the origin of our life. So 如何承接古老的文化，然后又能够融合时尚现在，它可以很 modern。但你不能剪断，像办桌文化，或者我们很容易总统就职，或者在各种活动里面，我们很多拉诺万多咿呀那呀嘿咿呀嘿，这个是不是我们的传统文化 ？It is not。我们排湾族就没有这首歌，就是变成我们闽南 musical theater。胡建在做的事情有点尴尬，是 it's very different from others。我们有一种族群，像外来的人在操作部落的文化的时候，比如说我们用 traditional Chinese orchestra make a music arrangement for 周族的祭典音乐 ，that's weird。但有想要帮助我们原住民的人，常常会投入。觉得说，你的音乐应该要编曲，但它可能会是一种干扰。这个就是我们扮演的角，但我们希望坚守着一些从古老的时候流动到现在，它还有那个温度，但它有现在的美。This is the core value. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. If I may, I'm going to try my best. I think what's really beautiful is that I think, so as we've heard from all three of our guests on where they come from, what they do, and what they fill their daily activities with to help empower others, and also what message they're trying to send. Alia is making it clear that, he is an outsider. He was born in China, and he's an honorary member of the Paiwan tribe in Taiwan, and he's part of the arts. Like, who's had a good and easy time explaining what they do when they're a member of an arts community or an arts organization, and especially one for the indigenous culture, and when there are 16 tribes, to be representative of one of them and to be considered part of performance art. You're here to showcase, you're here to put on a show. It's part of show business. And I think so many common misunderstandings when it comes to witnessing a performance, a song, a dance. And part of the message he's trying to express is that, the indigenous the Taiwanese people were colonized. It was forced upon them to make do with what they had and to work with the current situation, and also to try and preserve what they could in that process. And it came over the course of hundreds of years with several different participants or visitors, right, in that period of time. And it comes down to how we eat, not so much what you eat, but how you eat. how you drink, not so much what you drink, and how you share a story, not so much what the story is. And so these are the kind of things that a lot of people are trying to preserve. And when I say a lot of people, I mean the indigenous people. And so when an outsider, such as Hu Jian, who is very much feel, that belonging, identifies that he's, an outsider, regardless of what he does, they're trying to push this initiative to share how much of a journey they have to go across to be able to spread the messages of the ancient peoples and ancient culture. And that process is not something to be underestimated. It's not something to be forgotten. And you cannot understand everything on the surface of something that is part of show business. It is a show, right? And so putting on everything, he's saying 尴尬. It's a very awkward situation to be in today, where as an outsider, representing indigenous culture in a showcase, and through song and dance, like, can you imagine the depth of like the kind of turmoil, internal turmoil that you might be going through, and many members of that dance troupe or musical troupe. And so through that, it's important as we witness and experience indigenous related, if not purely indigenous and traditional ways of sharing stories, poems, eating food and sharing sense of community. What's most important, the one message they want to send that will survive the test of time through all the generations is that sense of warmth, that sense of belonging, that sense that we are all together and that we can all work through things together. And that is the purpose of many songs and how we dine and how we drink and how we share each other's company. And I think that's what I'm hearing is the main message. So when you look at a performance, you were saying certain reporters would say, hey, is that traditional enough? It's like, how the hell can you answer that question? Is it traditional? No, it's not. It very much is not traditional enough. But the point is that we're here to try and showcase what's been preserved to a certain extent, but we're also in 2018 through a dance production in a grandiose setting, maybe like half in the woods, half in the city. You've got a full stage production. You're trying your best to try and express certain core messages. And again, that sense of warmth, that sense of belonging. And and if you were to go to the traditional sense of things, you were born, from your mother in her womb. But hey, the Taiwanese, they all started from a particular egg that the sun had laid. And that is where the noble men of the tribe had come from. If you want us to tell that story, will you believe it? Is that something you can really even relate to? No, it's not so much holding on to the most traditional range and aspect of things. It's very much the core message, and that is warmth, belonging, and that we are all the same. We are all equal, which I think correlates to what Jay is very much advocating for when it comes to certain rights. And also David, as far as the cross-pollination on what we can do if we create equal opportunity for people from all across the globe, especially those who have been here their whole lives, who just want to help make things happen and be a part of the conversation. And so that's just my little attempt at kind of summarizing what you shared. By the way.
Hey, hey. 传统其实在部落以前是 fashion. What tradition once it was a fashion. Like 当我们结婚的时候 you have to give a pot, huge iron pot. 那个铁锅子叫什么？是对。
I mean, it's a pot.
对。
Yeah, you got it. You got it the first try.
Once it was a fashion, but now it's the tradition. So you cannot really identify it's a floating fashion.
Right. That's one thing I didn't mention that you're saying. It's about the flow. It's about how they change.
我们的问题是我们很喜欢用传统原住民传统去这件事情。对，我们扮演的角色就是其实我们比较不敢去轻言谈传统这件事情。
No, thank you, all three of you. And we again, I mentioned this in the first half of tonight's event. 我们今天的论坛真的希望有多一点时间可以一起聊，然后一起探索他们各位贵宾的想法跟理念。But today, we are short on time. We have an incredible musical ensemble ready to play for us and celebrate Red Room's 9th anniversary, the conversations, the topics we've had at hand. We have some snacks and food that many of you have devoured at halftime. Might be something left. But as we come to a close, again, we went through two questions, which I think we also did for the last one. So I'm learning my lesson again as an experiment. So 我们第一次办论坛，所以我们只有讲到两个问题。我们下次可能会再进步。But just for now, I think we can allow for, or not so much allow, enable each of you to ask a question. And if you have a question, it doesn't have to be directed at any of us four. It could be directed at each other. It could be a question that you're just keeping in your mind. We want this to be an open forum. It's part of the reason why we're doing a semi-circle thing going on here. So we have 2 mics. 可以跟你拿其中一个 please. So 欢迎各位，如果有任何一位有任何的问题，我们希望可以问。那你不只是要问你不用试着问其中这3个贵宾，你也可以就是一个你心里一直在想的一个问题，或是你希望可以问你邻居、你身边的人，然后你愿意分享的一个问题，也可以一起分享。So it was if anyone, yeah, 继续 please. Yes. 你不用问，不用问。
我迫不及待很想问胡建老师，因为其实听到你的参与，然后提这个议题，是我非常开心，可是也同样非常 shock， 就是我来自屏东，我有12个男同学，有7个是排湾族。对我其实是从在高中的年代，我一直接触原住民，尤其是排湾族，我非常喜欢他们当然也很非常，就是同学之间就非常和乐。可是我在问胡建老师之前，我想可能要先说明一下，就是刚才胡建老师有提到说，过去原住民在被日本殖民哦，其实不止原住民，其实包括我们客家人，包括台湾人，其实，在那个年代，1947年之前，我们有将近50年是被日本统治。好，我们常常会讲日剧哦，可是我最近因为刚好也参与人权。白色恐怖的那一段，我们在教育孩子。那其实我们一直在被纠正说，其实不是日剧，是日治，因为它是在清朝就被割让的啊，台湾是被割让的，所以它是不得已的。那日本人来50年呢，你要想想，如果一个孩子从0岁到50年这当中，他必须要一直被迫接受日本的教育、日本的文化，那能够在那样的一个岁月里面，能够保留各自的传统，其实我刚才就在那个上的社群，就是说，其实对我来讲，传统就是生活的累积。它会因为生活，它会因为不同的世代年代有所改变，可是那都不会去影响太大的核心。像客家文化，我们淳朴，可是我们就极尽的去善用我们的资源。我觉得这就是一个中心的一个核心。好，所以就是 OK， 对不起，好，那我回答就说
tradition is an accumulative process. That's how tradition is formed, and the Japanese not only colonized the indigenous, but they also the Hakanese in Taiwan, 客家人 and many others were involved. And if you think about it, 50 years, it involves an entire generation. If you have a child, all 50 years of their life, they would be subject to these policies and principles. And the question, Joe.
所以就是蛮想要问胡建老师说，你一个从中国出生，然后在香港也待过一阵，然后来到台湾，遇到了原住民，然后你会选择排湾族。虽然我真的也是因为我的同学，然后我也真的很喜欢排湾族。那其实我后来因为因缘机会，我其实跟泰雅族的朋友也蛮多的接触。可是我真的是很喜欢排湾族的，包括衣服。音乐对，可是刚刚胡建老师提到说那个板德的时候，我就开始马上回想说，过去我们在高中的时候，到我排湾族的同学家的时候，还有包括他们后来结婚，像真的就是会有板德的那个，可是实际
想问的是，
就是为什么胡建老师会这么的喜欢排湾族，然后你会觉得说。现在的你所看到的，以及我们所看到的那个文化，不是所谓的真正的排湾的传统。
So really quick, the question is why is it that you had assimilated or had joined or been a part of the Paiwan tribe? And 第二个部分是你说排湾族目前
Why I choose Taiwan?
Why you chose? Yeah, assuming you chose.
No,
yeah, of course.
I was chosen. Yeah. The color of Taiwan indigenous is blue. I was very blue 27 years ago. And 这个是第一个 attract me 的地方。你在进去的时候，我必须说，我从客观的角度说，排湾族的确因为他的民族文化系统，也许是 头目跟平民的系统，它握有了目前可能是最丰沛的民族文化，在各族里面。举例来讲，你们知不知道排湾族的斡旋能力应该是世界之冠 ？Negotiation ability should be one of the best in the whole world。
你早一点说的凤，你刚刚说凤，那个
斡旋。
negotiation。曾经你刚刚说凤排湾族是最凤，你刚刚说的我刚刚忘记。
我刚才说了什么？等一下。
没关系，请不要。
OK， 我越来越发现老人家在结婚谈聘礼的时候，一种不会太粗暴的吵架，但里面有这种很优雅的斡旋。大概只有在你们那个中国人的那个什么古代的宫廷那种在政治斗争的时候，依然保持优雅，但是勾心斗角。但排湾族不勾心斗角，它是有非常礼貌的一种 negotiation 的能力。
So across the globe, if we were to make a grand comparison, it would be a claim that many would support that the Paiwan tribe and their people, and culturally they're master negotiators, and they can maintain a sense of poise and elegance in whatever the dispute may be, and maintain a particular conversation.
你们可能不知道，对不起，你牵动了我要讲太多东西。你们可能不知道排湾族的文学造诣之厉害，绝对不输于我们汉人，对不对？伊啦，哇！就是好，我说你们知道红梨吗 ？Do you know？ 红梨在如果藜麦就是叫什么 ？𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘯。我们有排湾族小的那个 very healthy 我的红梨小米酿很好喝。就是红梨是熟成的时候是什么颜色？你们知道吗 ？What color？ 最强烈的时候是 purple，bloody purple。我们排湾族老人家，男人在唱勇士歌，在唱出雷些啊，一马路来一灯啊，出雷些。在唱勇士歌的时候，他说：“我拔起我的翻刀，然后挥向敌人的人头的时候，当我回眸一望，我看见一片丰收的 Dulles。”红梨，我们不会直接那么 bloody 去描述 head hunting or fighting killing， 我们会用一种 harvest 𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯 harvest beautiful 𝘈𝘯𝘯 harvest view 这样子来形容。所以点点滴滴，排湾族有太多深层的各种环节，从雕刻，从女人跟男人结婚的仪式，包括洞房的方式，还有死亡的方式。都是一个我们很难一般人接触得到，但我偷看到了。That's why 排湾，就是为什么我选排湾。Thank you.
Yeah, in brief, there's just a lot of depth to the culture and where they communicate their culture and certain messages. It's not on the surface level. It's always with a lot of depth and a lot of thought. And like aforementioned, it's even the level of negotiation in sense of dispute, in place of dispute. There will be a certain sense of elegance and relating to the opposing side, so to speak, to really transfer and communicate a message. I've just been informed that we are at a particular time where in order for our ensemble to play their full set before we get shut down here within the Air Force space, within the Red Room space, we will have to close this discussion now. So, I do apologize, 我们就需要先结束我们这个论坛。那我希望请大家一起跟我感谢我们今天晚上3位贵宾。Please thank our 3 guests. Thank you so much. 然后关于因为这3位特别 these 3 individuals are particularly influential and very active within Taipei community. So I would encourage each of you to dive deeper into what they're involved with. And this is, I can see you, you can see me. You've seen these individuals, you know their names. You have every way possible to engage in a conversation with them. So we're about to take a break as we set up sound for the next ensemble. Please do, if you guys are good with it, meet with these individuals, learn more about what they're up to, and whatever motivates you and drives you, let's make some friends, and hopefully each individual can make a difference today. As we've noticed, it just takes one person's perspective and one person's actions to make a change. So I hope you make some friends, get to know these 3 individuals, and thank you all again for being here and celebrating. And 𝘈𝘯𝘯𝘯𝘯 And thank you, Yuan is here to present.